Annyeonghaseyo. In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 2 of Hellbound. Now, episode 2 of Hellbound picks up right off where episode 1 ended, and we find the mother going to the lawyer and saying that she was given 3 billion won in order to broadcast her so-called death live on television. And then the lawyer tells her not to do it, but then she says that she needs to do it because in order for the future of her kids, so her kids are protected with money. So basically, in this episode, the new truth offers a sizable payment to Park Jun-ja, a condemned woman, so to speak, in order to exchange the right to live broadcast her fate, like I said. While episode 2 was interesting, it was kind of eye-opening, so to speak. Very different from episode 1. Episode 1, we did not have any idea what was going on. But episode 2 opened the can of worms, so to speak, about what's happening, what you could anticipate. And in this episode, the very big scene that happens is between the detectives, Jung Ji-soo, Park Jun-ja, and the lawyer, and everyone. They're all at Park Jun-ja's house because they want to talk about the terms of payment. And, they sign paperwork in order for the money to go through, the transfer money goes through and everything. And then all of a sudden, Jung Jun-si asks Park Jun-ja, who are these kids? They don't see a father in their life, what's happening? And then all of a sudden, it just goes crazy. He's asking questions he shouldn't be asking, but the mother's answering these questions, even though her lawyer said not to answer these questions. It's a crazy scene. It's a very emotional scene. It's a very heavy scene. And it's very impactful of how the episode goes from this scene moving forward. We find that Jung Ju-si doesn't really care about anything anymore because he has some kind of a secret. And just the look on his eyes is just that, he just doesn't know what he wants to say or what he wants to do. But then all of a sudden, Park Jun-ja's kids come out and say, my mother never is a sinner, this and that, and it's a whole unraveling of what happened. It's a really crazy scene, and it's very emotional. It's very, very well written. You could say most of the entire cast is in this one scene for this episode. Now, we also get a backstory about the detective's daughter, Ki-jung. Basically, we find out what happened to the mother in this episode, her mother. She blames herself for her mother's death, and then a whole thing unravels where she is with Jung Ju-si, and he actually helps her find the killer, who got out after serving only 6 years in prison instead of the maximum 10 years or something. They find out that he was intoxicated and that it was basically, he didn't meant to do it because he was intoxicated. So spoiler alert, what do you think happens? Of course, they do kill the mother's killer. Jung Ju-si does most of the dirty work, so you could tell he did sin because he killed someone. Now that will play a big, big role in future episodes. I'll definitely get to that and explain that. And now all the while this is happening, a crazy turn of events is happening. All of a sudden Arrowhead, who is that YouTube broadcaster, podcast, or whatever you want to call him, with the neon makeup and looks and just talks to his audience, someone leaks information about who the next victim is for these creatures, and they even show the kids. And we find out that it's the detective's partner doing everything. Yeah, it was shocking. I didn't really like his character from the first time I saw him in the very first episode, but it's really interesting about what he does. So basically, they get the kids on an airplane to Canada successfully, and they, take the mother back home, prep her for her broadcast the next day, and then this is where things get really, really interesting. So the next day, the event is broadcast live. We have VIP people who paid to see this happen front and center. They have white masks on. We don't know who these people are. And then, people that are, surrounding the area, the followers, so to speak, of this cult that they call the New Truth. And, we don't know if the New Truth and the Arrowhead are together, or if it's one separate entity, who is running the Arrowhead, who this neon, character is with this wig and neon paint in one room. We don't know who it is, but it's crazy. And then all of a sudden, as the countdown begins for, her Park Jun-ja's death, the episode is over. That's it. That's the end of the episode. This episode was really interesting. It was really good. It was really, really powerful, I want to say. And it's very different than the first episode because we were just introduced to the creatures, Jung Ju-si. We wanted to know who these characters were. And we did that. We got to know who these characters were. But then everything happens for a reason. And then when this episode ended, all of a sudden it's like, wow, you have to check out the next episode. And it was insane. So let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 2 of Hellbound. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? And what do you think about these characters? and the emotional aspect that they're going through with Jung Jun-si just running everything, this so-called cult, what he thinks of things going on. It's insane. It's insane. So let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked. And I'll see you guys in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week for my episode 3 review of Hellbound.